All right, so you're thinking about moving to Huntersville, North Carolina. Well, I have 11 things that you need to know before you decide to move to Huntersville, and some of these are going to surprise you. All right, let's get into the video. Hey, my name is Austin, and I make videos about what it is like to move to or live in the Lake Norman area of North Carolina. And today we're going over 11 things that you need to know before you decide to make that move. All right, number one is going to be that Huntersville is not a small town anymore. So Huntersville has actually approximately 70,000 people in its population. That is going to be the largest town along the Lake Norman area. So it feels more like a suburb to Charlotte rather than a Lake Norman town. Now this is big because if some of y'all are looking for a quiet lake town, then Huntersville is not going to be that option for you. But if what you are looking for is a suburb, something that is close to the big city of Charlotte, then Huntersville is going to be perfect for you. All right, now for the most part, Huntersville is going to feel like a suburb of Charlotte, but there are some areas in Huntersville that are a little more rural, a little more away from what it feels like a city suburb. And what you're going to see is that there are places like the Lotta Preserve where it is just a little bit quieter. So just keep that in mind. If what you're looking for is a small pace and you're not quite sure if Huntersville is for you, I would encourage you to come to Huntersville any weekday from 4 to 6, get on I-77, drive around the town, and just see what it feels like to you. If that's something that you like and can manage, then Huntersville may be perfect for you. All right, let's jump into the next one, and that is going to be that Birkdale Village is a legit lifestyle hub. Now, Birkdale Village has just about everything you are looking for in shopping and food. Now, starting off, if you are just going there for a morning stroll, you do have a Starbucks, and it is really quiet there in the mornings, especially during the week. And on the weekends, it starts getting a little busy at the Birkdale Village around 9, 10 a.m. in the morning. Now, what the Birkdale Village offers is a lot of different restaurants and a lot of shopping. So the Birkdale Village is an outdoor shopping center, and in the center of that shopping center is actually a movie theater. Now on top of that, they also have an outdoor area with a lot of seating. They have a little green area for families and kids to run around. Now this is a big draw for families, but what you are gonna see there is that the Birkdale Village has something to offer for everyone. You're gonna see holiday lights, weekend events. Sometimes there are some concerts there, as there is a main stage in the center where that green area is as well. And I do wanna add one more thing, and that is that the Birkdale Village on the weekend is chaotic. All right, now this is because of how popular it is. You're not just having the folks that live in Huntersville going down there, but you're going to see that people from other areas surrounding Huntersville are also going to be traveling to the Birkdale Village. All right, just keep that in mind because of how busy it is. Parking there can get chaotic. All right, number 3, and that is going to be that the traffic along I-77, which runs right through Huntersville, is chaos as well. Now what you're going to see is that I-77 in Huntersville is generally where the traffic starts to build up, moving north and south. Now what you're going to see is that a lot of the commuters that live in Huntersville and further north along Lake Norman are coming through Huntersville to get into Charlotte. Now the plus side is that if you live in Huntersville and you do commute to Charlotte, say you commute to uptown, what you're typically seeing is only a 20-ish minute drive depending on how traffic looks. Now I like to bring this up because the traffic moving north is where all of these bottlenecks begin. It's where you're gonna see a lot of the traffic along Lake Norman. Now sometimes this does back up exits along the Huntersville area, and you are gonna see that the outer loop 485 is also very close to Huntersville as well, and there is going to be a lot of traffic that builds up there too. So keep that in mind if you are a commuter going into Charlotte from Huntersville. Traffic is going to be a factor in where you decide to live, and if you are a remote worker, then this reason is just a non-reason for you. All right, let's move into the next one. All right, number 4, and that is going to be that the school options are strong in Huntersville, but it really just depends on where you decide to live. All right, now Huntersville does have some fantastic schools, and I use niche.com for my data. And what you're gonna see, like the Lake Norman Charter School has a 4 out of 5 on niche.com. But because Huntersville falls largely within the Charlotte-Mecklenburg public school system, Zoning patterns vary widely. Not all public schools share that same strength as the charter and private schools in the area. And you will notice that depending on what part of Huntersville you live in, there are some schools that are stronger than others. All right, so just keep that in mind before you buy. Just make sure you're checking out what school zone the house is going to be in, and use places like niche.com or greatschools.org to help you make a better informed decision for you and your family. Hey, real quick, I hope you're enjoying this video. If you're getting some value out of this, please consider liking and subscribing, as I do drop 2 videos per week, every week, on what it is like to live in the Lake Norman area of North Carolina. And as much as I love making these videos, real estate is my day-to-day. So if you have any real estate questions or need any help, the number that is popping up below, I am the person that answers every phone call, every text message, and every email. All right, with that being said, let's get back into the video. All right, number 5, and that is going to be that Huntersville is close to Lake Norman. It does touch Lake Norman, but it does not feel like a lake town. All right, now Huntersville does feel like a Charlotte suburb rather than a lake town, whereas places moving further north, like Mooresville and Troutman, do feel more like lake towns. Now, what you're finding is that most of the neighborhoods in Huntersville are not going to touch the water, but you do have access to the lake. You have Blythe Landing. Now what you're going to see is that you are rarely within 5 minutes to the lake from Huntersville. Now another thing I like to add is that Huntersville also has Mountain Island Lake, which is a little bit further to the west side of Huntersville. And that is also going to be where that Lotta Preserve is as well. So if you're big into the lake life and you are looking for something that is on the lake, then you may also want to consider other Lake Norman towns like Cornelius or Mooresville. And you also have Sherrills Ford on the northwest side of the lake. All right, number 6, and that is going to be that Huntersville has an incredible amount of amenities if what you're looking for is close proximity to restaurants and shopping. All right, now we already touched on the Burkdale Village, but Huntersville also has a lot of other options. All right, you have Target in Huntersville. You have a Whole Foods in Huntersville, which is going to be the closest Whole Foods along the entire Lake Norman area until you get into Charlotte or moving northeast up into Winston-Salem. All right, what you're going to find is that daily living here is incredibly convenient. But keep in mind that with this convenience also comes the fact that it is pretty busy. There are other places around Huntersville that are coming into Huntersville to do their shopping. So if what you're looking for is something a little more rural, then this isn't going to be something for you. Now, pro tip, everything that you do need is within 10 minutes. So just factor that into commute trade-offs as well. All right, number 7, and that is going to be that new construction is limited and is often very pricey. All right, now Huntersville for the most part has already been built out. It is one of the older communities. You do see a lot of ranch style homes from the 1960s and 70s in Huntersville. And if you are looking for a new construction build in Huntersville, what you're typically going to see is that is going to be the ultra premium range of home. What you're going to get there is a luxury home with great amenities, but you are looking at price tags well over $1 million for new construction in Huntersville. All right, so the remaining new builds are in smaller pockets, and there's very little large lot inventory that is left. We do have a brand new Toll Brothers community coming into Huntersville, which I'm very excited about. But for the most part, what we are seeing for any type of new construction is that these communities are going to be a lot smaller. Now the homes are big, they are on large lots, but they're just a lot less options for you as far as how many new builds are being built in Huntersville. All right, now number 8 is going to be that HOA life is the norm. Now, most of the communities in Huntersville do have some sort of HOA, unless you're looking in the older communities, like those 1960s ranch homes that I mentioned, or in the historic areas downtown. All right, now most Huntersville neighborhoods that do have HOAs are going to come with things like a pool at a minimum, some sort of park for the kids, and you're even going to see that some of these communities have greenways as well. All right, that's going to be fantastic if what you like is going and hitting the trail. Now, the good thing about HOAs is that they usually have great amenities. Usually these neighborhoods are a lot cleaner, and you may also have some community events that are held within the HOA. Now, if what you are looking for is something that is not at all in an HOA, something with a little more freedom, I would encourage you to look in the more rural areas east of I-77. Now, east of I-77, the trade-off is that you are much further away from Lake Norman, from Mountain Island Lake, and Lotta Preserve. But on the east side of I-77, you are going to get a little more say in what you can do with your property with no HOA. All right, let's go on to the next one. All right, number 9, and that is that Huntersville is perfect for the outdoor enthusiast. All right, first thing I want to cover again is Blythe Landing. Now, Blythe Landing is a big park on the southeast corner of Lake Norman, and you have a boat launch access there. There are actually 4 different boat strips. Now, Blythe Landing is also great if you want to go fishing, and they also have some beach volleyball courts there as well. All right, another thing I want to cover, and one of my favorites along the entire Lake Norman area, is going to be the Lotta Preserve. All right, now the Lotta Preserve is an old plantation that was turned into a community park. Now, this preserve has miles of trails, okay? Perfect for mountain biking or hiking. And you're also going to see that the Lotta Preserve has trails for horses as well. It's one of the few places in the Lake Norman area where you can actually take your horse. There's horse trailer parking. Don't be surprised if you are walking and you do see a few horses with some riders as well. All right, you're also going to see that Huntersville has a ton of parks. If you're looking for things like playing tennis, pickleball, basketball, there are going to be a lot of options in Huntersville. All right, number 10 on our list of things you need to know before you decide to move to Huntersville, and that is that Huntersville does feel more like a Charlotte suburb over a Lake Norman town. Now, if what you're looking for is access to amenities like shopping, restaurants, nightlife, breweries, or even going to a club, then Huntersville is going to be great for you. Right? You have access to a lot of those things. And if what you're looking for is not in Huntersville, you are very close to Charlotte. Now, on the other hand, if what you're looking for is something a little more quiet, a little more peaceful, a little more lake life oriented, you're not going to really find that in Huntersville. You will find it in pockets, but for the most part, that is not going to be the overall vibe in Huntersville. That is not what Huntersville is known for. Now, if what you want is some suburban energy, then Huntersville is going to be fantastic. You have that access to all of those restaurants and shops. You have access to Charlotte, especially if you're a commuter into the city. You have access to some good schools in Huntersville. And in Huntersville, you are going to find a wide variety of different housing options. All right, number 11, our last one, and that is going to be that Huntersville is growing fast. Now, what I did mention as far as new construction goes, Huntersville, for the most part, is already built out. There are a lot of different pockets of communities in Huntersville, and what you're seeing here is that the demand for real estate is very high because there are not just people from in North Carolina that are moving to the Charlotte region and are finding Huntersville to be a perfect option for them. We are also seeing that there are a lot of folks moving here from out of state. We're seeing more apartments pop up. We're seeing more commercial developments that pop up as well. A lot of new retailers are moving into Huntersville. And we are seeing that with all of these new options, we're seeing a lot more people come in, and a lot more people that come in, more traffic. You also have Charlotte just to the south, and Charlotte is growing rapidly as well. And being this close to Charlotte is going to contribute to the growth of Huntersville as well. So just keep that in mind before you do decide to move to Huntersville. All right, that is going to be 11 things that you need to know before you decide to move to Huntersville. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing, as I do drop 2 videos per week, every week, on what it is like to move to or live in the Lake Norman area of North Carolina. And as much as I love making these videos, I am a licensed real estate broker here in the state. So if you have any questions or need any help, I'm here for you. That number that is popping up below, I am the person that answers every phone call, every text message, and every email. All right, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and we'll see you in the next one.